Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Sam, and in today's video I wanted to do the book Freakout tag. I have been seeing this video go around YouTube for the last couple weeks. So I guess it's a mid-year Freakout tag about books that you've liked, books that you haven't liked, books that you're excited about. And it just seemed like a lot of fun and just another reason to talk about books and books that I'm loving. Because although that I have done a number of monthly TBR videos, I really haven't done a lot of like book review sort of videos, which I don't think I'm the best at doing, but I do want to get better at it, and the only way to do that is to talk about books. So with all that out of the way, let's just jump into the questions. So there's 13 questions, and I will also have them all down below. So if you want to answer any, you can answer them in the comments, or you can film them yourself as well. So I just have my laptop sitting on my lap here with all the questions on it. So if I'm looking down, that's why. The first question is the best book that you've read so far in 2023. And that has to be Fourth Wing. I definitely bought into the hype of this book. I went out and got it basically as soon as it was released, because a lot of the people that I follow specifically on Instagram were getting advanced copies and only had the best things to say about it. So I couldn't not pick it up. This was my first 6-star book of the year. This is in my elite top books that I have ever read. I think that the plot is very unique. I've heard a lot of people compare it to Divergent mixed with Harry Potter mixed with How to Train Your Dragon, and I think that's the best way to describe it. It's set in a magical school where young adults are not necessarily sorted. They get to choose what path and what quadrant they want to be a part of to follow the rest of their studies to prepare for war and the protection of their land. And we follow this one girl who wants to be a scribe, but her mom says, no, you're going to be a writer, and has to go sort of like the gauntlet initiation, or dauntless? Sort of like the initiation in Divergent, in order to prepare to bond with a dragon. The twist at the end I didn't see coming. I went through all of the emotions with this book. I love the character development. I love all the characters. I have seen a lot of people say that the romance in this book isn't great or not believable. I really felt that the romance was not the main plot of this book, and I really appreciated that. It was really a personal growth and fantastical, political plot. I don't know, it was a lot of fun. The dragons are amazing. I ordered stickers that relate to this book immediately after I finished it because I loved it so much, and I love it. It's so good. The best sequel that you've read so far in 2023. Oh, God. So tight. So that has to be Heir of Fire by Sarah J. Maas. This is the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series. This was my second 6-star book of the year. I absolutely loved this book. I love where the plot is taking us throughout the series. I love all the characters. Again, this is very much personal growth and perseverance sort of story. Dealt with a lot of the main character's trauma and her working through that. It just felt like a really powerful story, and I'm very excited to see where the rest of the series takes us, because we're only like halfway through the series, and the books only get thicker and thicker, so there's lots of plot to still go through and explore. I was very hesitant about Throne of Glass because I loved ACOTAR and I didn't think that something could be better. And I also read Crescent City, which wasn't my favorite. So I was worried that this was going to be similar to those feelings of just not living up to what I at the time thought was the best fantasy series. And ACOTAR will definitely always hold a special place in my heart. I think that's an amazing series and I want to go back and read it over and over. But there's something in this series that's unmatched. That's all I have to say. A new release that you haven't read yet but want to, that is The Sun and the Star by Rick Riordan and Mark Oshiro. This is the Nico D'Angelo book in the Percy Jackson universe. This is definitely my most anticipated release for 2023 after Fourth Wing. I am so excited to get back to this universe and see what's going down. I know some bits about these dark chunks and I'm really excited to see where the story takes us and how Mark Oshiro really adds to the universe and the story with their co-authorship. The most anticipated release for the second half of the year. So this would definitely have to be Iron Flame, which is the second book in the Fourth Wing series. I think Rebecca Yara's posted that she has this series plotted out for 5 books worth, which I'm very excited about. I can't wait to see where the story takes us. And I'm very excited that there was only like 6 months between these 2 first books. And after that cliffhanger, I can't wait to see what happens next. The biggest disappointment for the year so far would probably be Dawn of Onyx. This was another book that I saw a lot of 5-star reviews on, seemed to be getting a lot of hype and love, but it just didn't do it for me. It started off well. We have I believe it was 4 realms or 4 kingdoms based on gemstones. It was a very unique premise where the main character is really trying to protect her family and gives herself up in order to protect her brother to be a captive in the Onyx Kingdom, which is supposed to be the most ruthless and evil of the kingdoms. And about like the halfway point, it just kind of fell flat. It seemed like we were just meandering. There was no really movement to the plot. And the book was also very long. So to have that meandering and not really know what was going on or what was coming was kind of frustrating. It was one of those like, okay, great, what's happening now? And then the end, like everything just kind of exploded and didn't make any sense. It was all kind of convenient. So I will continue the series because maybe it's just a like first book syndrome flop sort of thing. It was just trying to set up the world and the characters, and the continuation of the series might be better. The biggest surprise for the year so far would probably be the Twisted series by Anna Huang. I, again, was very excited for these books. Got a lot of hype, a lot of people loved them, and they just flopped for me. So this was a not too good surprise. I was really enjoying all of them until the third act breakup. The third act breakup really, it like lost me for every single book. It didn't make sense. It was unnecessary. It was poorly done, in my opinion. Obviously, if you like any of the books that I dislike, or if you don't like any of the books that I do like, that's entirely your opinion. Everyone has their own reading tastes and their own favorite tropes and authors and everything like that. And if you love these books, all the more power to you. I wish I was you. I really wanted to love these books, but they just didn't do it for me. The more that I read and the more that I see the traditional romance structure that includes a third act breakup just for the sake of it, it's not necessary. You can have a conflict without needing to tear the characters apart. And I felt that that's what these ones were. Favorite new author, debut or just new to you, would have to be Hannah Bonan Young. I read her The Next series, which was just, at least currently, it's just a duology, which I think they're more like interconnected standalones surrounding the same friend group. I felt the messages in these books were really powerful, and themes that were discussed was really powerful. A lot of like trauma and grief and mental health was really good representation in both of these books that I've read by her. There was no miscommunication in these books, and the third act conflict made a lot of sense, and they didn't like break up unnecessarily. It made sense to who the characters were. It made sense to the storyline. And overall, they were just really well written. And just reading them felt like a warm hug, if I'm being honest. Newest fictional crush? I don't really have one. I guess Rowan from Throne of Glass. I'm just going to leave it at that because if you know, you know, and if you haven't read it, then read them. Newest favorite character, no surprise, it's Selena Sarafian from Throne of Glass. She's just a badass. She's an assassin. She's amazing. I love her. Book that made you cry. I really don't want to just be talking about the same books for all of these answers, but I have been reading a lot of meh books so far this year, and only in the last month have I found like great books. But the only book that made me cry this year is Fourth Wing for like 2 seconds. So this one. A book that made you happy, maybe Brutal Prince by Sophie Lark. It was just a fun time. Most beautiful book that you've bought so far this year or received. This is the only special edition book that I have. I can't not choose this one. It has sprayed edges with dragons on it. It's unmatched. I also haven't purchased a ton of books this year. I mean, the entire new covers of Throne of Glass, these are stunning. I love them. So maybe these. And the last question is, what books do you need to read by the end of the year? I mean, everything. I would love to get a dent in my physical TBR. I have basically the entire bottom shelf of this bookshelf. Obviously the rest of Throne of Glass, I'm very excited to continue reading that series and finish it out. But then I really want to read a lot more on my Kindle. I love my Kindle. I am so happy that I got one, but just the way that my monthly TBRs have been going the past couple months, I haven't got a ton of Kindle reads, so I'm just excited to get back to reading on my Kindle. But those are all of the questions for the mid-year book Freakout tag. I really hope that you enjoyed this video. Again, I'll leave all the questions down below if you want to answer any of them and chat with me in the comments. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!